The Cains Ballroom, probably one of the most famous honky-tonks in America. And of course, at one point, it was the headquarters of Western swing pioneer Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys, but it is really so much more. In the new book, 20th Century Honky Tonk, authors John Wooley and Bingham take a look at the first 75 years of this iconic building. John and Brett are with us this morning. You can only do 75?
Yeah, well, that was a good dropping off place because it was 50 years of country music and 25 years of rock and roll.
And it has been, I was talking to some of the producers this morning. I mean, obviously, we're going to take a look at this one picture. It was the home of Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys. I mean, that was what kind of put it on the map. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. Wouldn't you say so, Brett?
Absolutely, yeah. That and then the combination of KVOO being able to broadcast to the West Coast, put all three on the map.
I love this next picture because obviously it's just our next door neighbor here, and we've just seen it over the years. But this is like a picture from like the 1930s, the old car out front, and to see that, it just kind of gives me goosebumps to think that something that's been around that long.
Yeah, and even longer, really. It was about around since the early 20s,
and in many ways hasn't changed.
Right, in many ways hasn't changed. That's right.
Well, it does. The look of it. Now, tell me about this. The Dance Academy. Is that kind of how things got started?
Well, it was a dance hall before that, and then Tate Brady, who's been in the news a lot in the past few years, built it. Allegedly, it was going to be a Hupmobile dealership. Hupmobiles kind of like Fords, kind of in that level.
Okay.
I don't think a Hupmobile, Brett and I did a lot of research, I don't think a Hupmobile ever rolled into that place.
Really?
It became a dance hall very quickly called the Louvre.
Okay.
Why Tate Brady named the dance hall after a famous Paris art museum, we've never been able to find that out.
Right.
But it was the Louvre, and then came
Madison Cain, who had dance halls. There was other Cain's ballrooms in the state of Oklahoma, actually, in Drumright and Oklahoma City. But he came to Tulsa, part of the oil boom, and was giving dance lessons, and it became Cain's Dance Academy at that point.
And I think that's one of the pictures that we had showed that also in the late 30s and about that time.
And then he was in poor health. Bob Wills was in town, needed a bigger place to play, and it was just kind of a marriage.
The rest is history, as they say.
Absolutely.
Now, we talk a little bit about country music because that was what was such a significant part. But, man, I was looking through here, all the rock and roll groups that have been through there as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And that probably started in the 70s when Larry Schaefer and the guys actually before him that had it for a few years.
Larry Schaefer, there's a name from way back, isn't it?
Oh, gosh, I still see Larry. Larry's doing very well. He's still booking acts.
That's fantastic because he was made such an influence on Tulsa with music and for sure. Yeah. What was this experience like? Because you are a historian from way back and being an author and a writer, but you all also got a little bit of help in this project, right?
We got a help from a lot of different people, and of course you got to remember also that Brett, when I met Brett, he was a high schooler and he was the president of the original Texas Playboys fan club.
Oh, wow.
So
well, of course, your dad, I mean, a lot of people know your dad. Tell us about that.
His uncle, actually.
Or his uncle, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, he's been a promoter, and he actually worked for Leon McCullough at the competitive Cimarron Ballroom at 4th and Denver for many years, and got kicked out of Cain's along with Billy Parker one day.
There's a story in
about
Ray Bingham and Billy Parker getting escorted out.
He was around the business, of course, and I was too growing up, and that's how John and I met.
That was kind of those wide-eyed as a kid, getting to see all that. I mean, just kind of history unfolded right before your eyes.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. You guys, who do you think would enjoy this book the most?
Gosh, there's a lot of people who remember the Wills family, and Liam, we're seeing some sales overseas, in Britain and in Australia, and a lot of people. The Cains Ballroom is very famous among musicians, so of course musicians are going to be into it, but also the people who heard their grandparents and parents talk about the Cains Ballroom wonder what it's all about.
Yeah.
We were very lucky and just very blessed to get the cooperation that we did from Larry Schaefer and from other people as well.
That's great. Well, you'll have a chance to meet the authors and buy the book, and also Billy Parker, whom we had on a few weeks ago. Big book signing this weekend. It'll be happening on Saturday, 11 to 1, at the Sand Springs Cultural and Historical Museum there in Sand Springs. 11 to 1, you want to go out there because there's also a display, I understand,
of Jim Halsey's memorabilia, which of course is stunning. And we will have Billy Parker's book that we co-wrote with him, Brett and I. thanks a lot will be on sale, and Billy will be out there as well.
Well, we look forward to it's going to be a great Saturday, very busy. I didn't get time to read it because I was finishing up Billy's book, but I will hang on to this because the Cains is just, I love that room where everybody is signed, you know, we've done events there, and you're like, just walking across the floor, you know, it just kind of makes you wonder who all has been here before. Great to see you guys. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, man. It's great to see you.